Hi everyone, it's Janet. Here I am with another one of my mini albums that I did. This mini album I made from a kit from Paperworks. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about the front part of my album. I put the album together with the rings, and on each ring I tied a lot of ribbons because I wanted to be colorful and just really cute, because this is my beautiful sunny day album. And what I'm going to do with this album is this summer, after all my flowers are in and starting to bloom, I'll be taking pictures of them because I absolutely love flowers. Roses and lilies and daisies. I have them all in my yard and I take pictures, and this year I'm going to put the pictures in this pretty little album. So what I did with the kit was it had two pieces of cardstock. I took each piece of cardstock, I folded it in half and then cut it. And then each of the four halves I made the pages inside this album. It also had some printed paper in it, and I used that to embellish my pages and to make the different elements inside the album. As I said, this is a cardstock title for my album, Beautiful Sunny Days. Also with the album came some flowers. So I used the flowers from the album as well as some Prima flowers to enhance some of the pages that you will see in this album. With this one I used a yellow and then a blue flower for the center with a silver brad. And I adhered it to the pattern paper that I bordered the outside of the cover of the album. And down the center I added some blue ribbon. On the title page I added a little flower bling. It's a colored flower. And then here I have a Prima flower with a small brad in the center. And if you notice, there's a little butterfly, because in my garden I get lots of butterflies. Then up here in the corner you'll see another butterfly also. But this little thing here is a tag that I thought I'd add to the front. I can add a small picture, or I can just do some journaling on it, and you'll notice that I inked all the edges. Okay, on the inside, this is my first set of pages. On this set, let me open it up this way, I made a template of a flower pot, and I used two of the different pattern papers that came with the kit, and then I used an ink pen to put stitching around the flower pot. And up here I used some of the chipboard flowers that came with the kit, and I added a ribbon up here in the center. And you'll notice throughout the album I left plenty of room for pictures of my flowers. Now on this page I made another flower pot using again the different pattern paper that came with the kit. You'll notice throughout the kit that there's at least 3 pattern papers that I used throughout it. For the bottom part of the flower pot, after I made the stitching, I took one of the flowers from the kit and then 2 Prima flowers. I put them together with a silver brad and adhered them to this flower pot, and I got a butterfly flying down. Inside I used the flower pot as a pocket, and on the inside I made a tag, and I stamped the word bloom on it and used 2 bling for in the center of the 2 O's in the word bloom. And on the back I just inked the edges and left room for a picture. Okay, then on this page what I did was I made 4 little flower pots, and I bordered the bottom of the page with them. On 2 of them I put some bows, and then I stamped flowers coming out of each one, and I left room up here for some pictures. Now on the next few pages you will notice that I took them and I divided them by using one of the pattern papers down the center. And on this particular one I used some ribbon. It's a blue ribbon with a yellow stripe down the center to divide the patterned paper, and I also used the ribbon here on the edge. Then I took some Prima flowers with some flower bling for in the center. This way I can put two separate pictures on this page. On this page I did the same technique, only I used a different patterned paper, and to divide it I took some flower bling, and you'll notice it's all different colors, and the bling is in the shape of flowers, and I have a space for two more pictures. This one I did a little bit different again, the same patterned paper, but I used a green and white checked ribbon to divide it, and I used the same ribbon for along the edge here. And then I took some flowers from the kit along with some Prima flowers and then some silver brads to adhere them to the paper. Again, there's plenty of room for pictures. And on the back of this one, I took all three patterned papers and I used them to make this this place for two pictures. I adhered this patterned paper down first, then I bordered it with a different patterned paper, and then in the center I used the third patterned paper to divide it. Up in each of these corners I added some Prima flowers and I put some shiny bling in the center of the flowers. Another thing that I get in my garden every year along with the butterflies is I get birds. So down here I put a little birdhouse and a bird flying to the birdhouse. Here I have another one, only this has a giant flower pot on it, and when I did the stitching I only did it around the band, and I used the two different patterned papers. I again stamped the word bloom because this is a book about blooming flowers, and then I took two Prima flowers, a green and a bright yellow, put them together again with a silver brad and adhered them to the pot. And then up here you'll notice a little birdie flying into the flower. In here, in this double page, I bordered each page with a different patterned paper. And then I took a square of another patterned paper, and on that square I added a flower pot. I stitched around the flower pot, and then I used a bright orange bow for along the band, and I stamped a flower growing out of my flower pot. Now on this page I took two squares of the different patterned paper, adhered them together, and then another patterned paper I made the flower pot again with the stitching. I adhered them to the page, and then I added a blue flower with a bright orangish brown center. And then you'll notice that there's plenty of room for flowers on each page. Now the back of this page is quite bright and colorful. I have two separate flower pots, and again I made the stitching around both of them. And while I was at the dollar store I found these beautiful daisies. I got them in orange, pink and white, and bright yellow. For this one I cut one of the orange ones off the stem along with one of the leaves, and I adhered them to this flower pot. But for this one I only used the leaves from those and two Prima flowers with a seafoam green pearl for in the center. And I have a dimensional butterfly flying down onto the flower pot, and I left plenty of room for pictures. On this one, again another flower pot. I didn't put stitching on this flower pot, but for the band I used some of the ribbon that came with the kit, along with some Prima flowers and the flowers from the kit. Over here I put a sticker with a garden hat and a flower on the hat, and I stamped some flowers below, and I added a dimensional sticker that says bloom, leaving plenty of room for pictures. Here again I have a double page layout again, And if you'll notice, in each corner I stamped flowers, and then I added in the opposite corners chipboard flowers with bows in the center. This one I used the green and white checked bow, and up here I used the bright orange bow for in the center. Lots of room for flowers, for pictures of my flowers. And then down here on the final page, I bordered it with some of the pattern paper, and then I just went crazy with my stamp, and I stamped Bloom all the way down the side panel. And here I used 2 Prima flowers with a silver brad in the center, and I have a little hummingbird flying up to the flower. This is going to be my summer album that I'm going to put all my flower pictures in, and maybe at the end of summer I'll do another video so you can see some of the flowers that I have growing in my garden. I hope I've inspired you. I'm encouraged very much by the comments that you leave, and I encourage them, and I thank you for them, and I thank you for watching my video. This is Janet saying goodbye for today. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.